Yes, we are live. We are live. We are back. This is your WWE Crown Jewel Perth post show. The show has just gone off the air in, of course, in Perth, Western Australia. We've got a lot to talk about in terms of that show, haven't we? It's a show that had some very good matches, some very obviously high-profile matches, but also some matches that maybe didn't deliver as we thought they were going to. Maybe at points a little bit of a tired crowd. Maybe we're going to get into all of it. It's a show though that if you just tuned in to see John Cena versus AJ Styles for the final time, and you said, look, they've had amazing matches throughout their rivalry in WWE, and I just want to tune in to see them face off one more time, then you will be satisfied with this show. Because John Cena and AJ Styles, in my opinion, delivered one of the best matches of the year. I mean, they've had their matches in their series of them. You know, it's SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and episode of SmackDown. I think there's an argument to be made. It's the best out of all of them. They pay tribute. They pay homage to, it wasn't just, what was maybe so great about it is it wasn't just a John Cena retirement match, sort of tribute match. It was also an AJ Styles retirement match, tribute match. And it was, we're going to go straight into it in just a second. So yes, be sure to smash a like on the like button. I can see already we've got over 36 people in here. So if you haven't already clicked that like button, be sure to subscribe. As you can see right there, we are less than 400 subscribers to go until 25k. The goal to get to 25k in 2025. Let's, as we always do with the post show, let's begin with sort of not necessarily the end, because usually we begin with the end because usually that's the biggest story. But let's begin with the biggest story from this PLE, which has to be AJ Styles versus John Cena. As Ridwan says there in the chat, I think it's absolutely true. They carried. Yeah, Ridwan, I agree. AJ Styles versus John Cena carried, and this is exactly what John Cena's retirement tour should have been all about, which is, paying tribute, running back the hits. They're called the hits for the reason. They're called the greatest hits for a reason. And there's nothing wrong with playing them. Now, I'm not saying, you go back and you just do a classic Cena match, 5 moves of doom, AA, 1, 2, 3, that's all she wrote. I think fans would maybe want a bit more of that, but frankly, if that's what they gave us, I don't think fans would really care all that much. It's great to say goodbye to John Cena, right? That's the whole thing. But at this stage of the game, for Cena and AJ to be going out there and doing what they're doing and have that match was just, words don't really do it justice. I'm going to be honest with you, in my opinion anyway. Words don't really do that match justice. It had references to everyone you can possibly think of, because they were also paying tribute to not only old Cena opponents but also old AJ Styles opponents, because AJ Styles made the announcement at the kickoff show to Crown Jewel Perth that he's retiring as well in 2026, a little bit later than Cena, but he's retiring soon. And while Cena pays tribute to his WWE rivals, AJ Styles pays tribute to all of his TNA rivals. So Cena pays tribute to, who did we have in there? We had The Miz, Skull Crushing Finale. We had Randy Orton, RKO and Draping DDT. We had The Undertaker, Chokeslam Tombstone. We had Bray Wyatt tribute. An amazing part of this match is when John Cena he hits the Sister Abigail, and it gets a huge reaction, but then all the fireflies come out, and there's this moment, sort of 10-15 second moment, where everyone just is then thinking about Bray Wyatt. It's just a magical moment in that match. You see him try to go for the punt kick like Randy Orton. AJ Styles does references to Sting, does a Scorpion Deathlock, drop rather. Does the Fade to Black Frankie Kazarian. Does the Angels Wings tribute to Christopher Daniels. Does the Sweet Chin music. He pays tribute to Shawn Michaels, the one that got away, the match he could never have. It was just brilliant. I mean, it was just absolutely brilliant. And ultimately, Cena gets the victory after hitting a tombstone. Walls of Jericho as well. We got a Chris Jericho reference there. But Cena gets the victory with a tombstone pile driver, yes, and then hits the AA for a 1-2-3, and crowd loved it. I mean, the only problem with it is that you can't follow these matches. But as I said, this is what Cena's retirement tour should have been. Cena's retirement tour should have been playing the hits, doing the matches that people want to see. People want to see Cena versus Styles. People want to see Cena versus, Cody or whatever. But also without the convoluted heel turn and this, that, and the other. People just, the crowd wants to cheer for Cena. They wanted to cheer for AJ. That was a great moment too. Obviously, John Cena's got his specialized ring entrance about, the Never Seen 17 being there one final time. Cena actually wrote out a special intro for AJ Styles as well, which I thought was fantastic. So if you're a fan of either Cena or Styles, if you're a fan of WWE in the mid-2000s, if you're a fan of TNA in its early days, then this one's for you, because it's basic. It's, for me anyway, I think it's a kind of love letter to that generation of wrestling, isn't it? Whether it was good, bad, and look, there were faults of it at the time. I lived it. I grew up in it. We like to harken back to, the 2010s and a little bit before with Cena or TNA in 2007, 2008, 2009, prime AJ Styles era, even though he was obviously there from the beginning. People like to go back to that. It was not perfect, but if you lived it, it was, I think, it was a love letter to that period of wrestling. And it was a love letter to those that grew up watching WWE and grew up watching TNA as well. And it's still somewhat surreal that, AJ Styles is one of John Cena's greatest rivals, because if you'd have said that to someone in 2007, you'd have been like, absolutely no way. But I think that's what it was. It was a love letter to that generation who grew up watching Cena and Styles, and they absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. The only concern you have sometimes with these kind of matches is, look, the two guys are not in their prime anymore. Can they deliver? How are they going to deliver? And this is where it goes to show why John Cena legitimately is one of the GOATs, because he is the best at adapting and finding a way. Cena's first half of this retirement year, it's not great. Performances weren't amazing. The WrestleMania main event against Cody sucked. The matches against Randy Orton and CM Punk were better, but still maybe not what they could be. And Cena's figured it out. It took him a little while, but he figured it out. He figured it out with that Cody match at SummerSlam, going, all right, I can do this level of performance. It doesn't need to be an intricate pro wrestling match. Just do the big spots. People want to see the big spots. Let's just do the spots. Same with Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. He figured it out of going, right, just do the spots. Just keep doing the big spots. I don't know. I still don't know why. It makes even less sense, the Lesnar match, doesn't it? How that went when you look at these matches that he's doing now, going, okay, but I suppose Lesnar's never going to do, a 30-minute match. He's never going to do that. But it still makes it even more strange. But this match carried the show by a mile, was absolutely spectacular. Like I said earlier on, it's a love letter to mid-2000s wrestling, mid-2000s WWE and TNA. If you were around then, this is a match. I mean, even AJ Styles is wearing his old gear. AJ Styles is wearing like NWA World Heavyweight Champion, NWA TNA AJ gear. He hasn't worn that. So I think it must be like 2006, maybe even 2005. It's like 20 years he hasn't worn that gear. So, yeah, it was... I suppose now that we know AJ's retiring, I don't think he's not going to have the level of a retirement tour like Cena's having, but it was kind of like, yeah, this is how it should be. See, it's the Cena retirement tour. You got all of these different pit stops, and this was a nice revisit of this was the AJ Styles, this was WWE TNA, like it's a whole, that's what it was. And it was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't care if it doesn't get, 5-star ratings or anything like that. That was just brilliant. Absolutely spectacular. And I recommend, go out your way to watch it because it's fantastic. And we've got over 50 people watching at the moment. We're already at 22 likes. If you haven't already, click that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're less than 400 subscribers to go until 25k. And now we get into the rest of the show. This is where it does get interesting. We begin with this Australian street fight with Big Bronson Reed getting the victory of his career, the biggest win of his career. What a sort of 18 months for Bronson Reed when you think about it, or a couple of years we're sort of coming into, because Bronson Reed, a couple of years ago, breaks his foot, whatever. What was it, last year? Whatever it was. Hey, why couldn't he come to Elimination Chamber? He was injured. For whatever reason. He missed the last one in Perth. he missed the last one. And now he comes back and back in Australia, and he beats Roman Reigns. Thanks to some interference and mistakes. Jey Uso accidentally spears his cousin through the table. And post-match, you see Roman Reigns very frustrated with the Usos. I don't want to see you until Christmas. So we're probably not going to see Roman. When that means, not the Usos aren't going to be on television until Christmas. Roman Reigns probably won't be on television until Christmas. Although, I would have thought he would have been at Survivor Series, considering that's in San Diego. But maybe not. But still, he's very unhappy and frustrated. He says, "I'm out of here." Then Jimmy and Jay are arguing. Then Jay goes, "I'm out of here as well." And we've got drama there. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't know what you guys think about this. I think it speaks volumes that already they're circling back to, we've got to do some kind of bloodline drama here. And I do sort of go, oh, really? Really? Is that the best you can do with Roman Reigns and with the Usos? Of just actually anything else outside of bloodline stuff we can't really do. So we're just gonna go back. There's infighting once again in the bloodline, and this time is it gonna be Jay that turns heel? Which I don't think Jay, despite the teases and the stuff on television, I don't see Jey Uso turning heel, because I just don't think WWE would be willing to throw that level of money away, because Jey Uso sells them a ton of merchandise, gets good reactions. Unfortunately, the bell has to ring, and the matches are kind of the shits. Or, they've realised that so much they replay the entrance now. Let's do that. Let's have the entrance play again, because we can't really have a match. So it feels like what Jimmy turns on them. We've done that. Jimmy's turned on. Well, he was the first to super kick. He was the first to be out of the bloodline. Then he came back in, but then he turned on Jay at SummerSlam 2023. So that's why I just look at this and go, yeah, I don't like the fact that we're circling back to bloodlineness, and that feels like that's their grand idea with all of this. That's particularly at a time where there has been criticism of WWE, right? There's criticism of WWE because obviously business is good for WWE, very, very good. But let's be completely transparent here. The product, this year particularly, but the signs have been there for a little while, the product hasn't been good. I mean, I remember obviously all of the hype building up to the Netflix premiere of Raw. And I think, because like I said, I think even if you go back a little bit of the first Saturday Night's Main Event around that period of time, they were like, oh, the WWE's got all of these massive shows coming up. They've got Saturday Night's Main Event returning, and then they've got Netflix premiere. Then they're going to have Elimination Chamber, and that's like a stadium show. And then they've got the 2-night WrestleMania. It's going to be massive. And just the quality just hasn't been there. It just hasn't. And you've had, obviously, moments in there. You can't deny we've had moments like the Cena heel turn, or, you know, the Brock return, or the Cody and Cena match at SummerSlam and whatever. But the sort of week-to-week quality of the shows just hasn't really been there. And there's been a lot of, you know, reporting about creative and concerns and creative shake-ups and this, that, and the other. And then at a time which people are talking about the creative and maybe not being great, we're going back to, all right, Roman might be a bit done with the vision now. Let's have some issues with the Usos and go back to sort of bloodline stuff. It's a bit like, you know, really? Nathaniel's been a member for 8 months. Appreciate 8 months of support. Nathaniel says, love the Cena Styles match, Stephanie McCur and the coast to coast headbutt. Yes, well, we'll be talking about the women's crown jewel title match next. We've still got nearly 50 people watching. If you haven't already, click the like button. We're at 23 likes. Be sure to subscribe. Next up was the women's crown jewel title match, and as predicted, Stephanie McCur defeats Tiffany Stratton. Now, if you were watching along with us on the watch along, when we got to the finish of this match, I went, oh, that was quick. I thought it was going to go on a bit longer. The match only went 10 minutes. Bear in mind, all the other matches on the show go pretty much 20-minute plus, apart from the tag team match, which was 19 minutes and 55 seconds, but it's 20 minutes. All the other matches on the show go 20 minutes plus, aside from this one, which went barely over 10 minutes. And it did feel short in comparison to all the other shows, all the other matches on the show. Vakur wins in a match that I felt was okay. It wasn't the best show. And I did think at points maybe there was a few, you know, kind of communication issues. But I always felt that Vakur was going to win this one. I think that WWE is really, really high on her right now. She's very, very popular in terms of crowd reactions, social media reactions. She only just won the Women's World Championship. And it was a clean finish as well. Misses the prettiest moonsault ever, Vakur. Stratton kicked out of her first finish. She hits a corkscrew moonsault and then gets the 1, 2, 3. And Vakur wins the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. And what a 18 months it's been for her. Debuts in NXT, wins the Women's North American Championship, then wins the NXT Women's Championship, holds them both at the same time, gets called up to the main roster just after WrestleMania. A couple months later, she's the Women's World Champion. Now she's won the Crown Jewel Championship as well. So that just goes to show just how much WWE rates Stephanie Vakur, how much WWE is behind Stephanie Vakur right now. Clearly, they see her as a big star and a big star for right now. Tiffany Stratton, I don't think loses anything by losing this evening in terms of like, does that make her look weaker? Stratton's been the women's champion for over 200 days. She's in her mid-20s. She'll win plenty of crown jewel titles. She'll be just fine. So I think this was probably the right call. I expected this outcome. I was just a bit surprised by how short the match was, to be honest with you. Next up, we of course had that AJ Styles John Cena match, which is what I've spoken about, so we won't have to speak about that much. But once again, go watch it. If you're on the fence about watching this for whatever reason, go and watch this match. You don't have to watch the rest of the show, but go and watch this match, because if you're a fan of WWE and TNA in the sort of mid-2000s, this one's definitely for you. Absolutely. The penultimate match was the homecoming for Rhea Ripley as her and Io Sky defeat the Kabuki Warriors. The thing that I was just surprised about the most about this, I wasn't obviously surprised at all in Rhea Ripley getting the victory. Actually, well, it was Io Sky technically got the victory, the pinfall with the over the moonsault, but it was very much the Rhea Ripley show. She was getting the hot tag and what have you. My biggest surprise with this is just that it went 20 minutes. I did say whilst I was doing the watch along, I went, this match has gone on for a bit longer than I expected and anticipated, and 20 minutes. But then when you think about it, that this angle about, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, it's been a show-closing angle on recent episodes of Raw, hasn't it? We've had main events involving Io Sky and Asuka and Ripley and what have you. So they have been putting a lot of time into this, and you've had obviously the different missed attacks from Asuka to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So I suppose if you're going to give it main event positions on Raw, then it should get plenty of time at the PLE. And that's exactly what it got. Obviously, Rhea Ripley, we know that what a star she is. Io Sky, we know what an incredible wrestler she is. Like I've said many a time, for me, she is arguably the best pro wrestler on the planet today. And I'm not using even male or female in that. She is just that good. Regardless of anything, just period. She is arguably the best pro wrestler on the planet. But actually, he probably stole the show in this match, or stole the match rather, because the Cena Styles match stole the show. But really, who I think grabbed the headlines in this match was Asuka. What an incredible performance by Asuka. She just, if you were ever concerned that obviously she was out of action for over a year with the knee injury and what have you, and maybe is she going to be slowing down a little bit? She was just completely in her element in this match. Hitting real stiff moves, doing her torch. She absolutely slapped the hell out of Io Sky at one point. I thought she just looked great. And they're trying to tell a bit of a story how maybe Asuka's, taking advantage of Kairi Sane and kind of bullying her. But maybe it went a few minutes too long. But I was really impressed by the Asuka performance in this one. No doubt about that one. And then finally, we move on to the main event, which was for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. And as many people expected, which to be fair, I think most of these outcomes, I think most people would have predicted. I know I predicted Vakur, Bronson Reed, Cena, Ripley, and Rollins. So it was pretty predictable shows in terms of outcomes. But Seth Rollins defeats Cody Rhodes. Now, I thought the defeat would come in the form of possibly outside interference, a new member of the Vision, Brock Lesnar, something like that. Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes. I felt that it would be something like that. Earlier on in the evening, after Bronson Reed had defeated Roman Reigns, you had a segment backstage with Paul Heyman and Austin Theory. Paul Heyman and Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. I'm only thinking Austin Theory because of those rumors that he could maybe be involved in War Games next month, but park that to one side. They did a backstage segment earlier on the show, which Heyman basically said, even if Rollins asks you for help, don't come out. He's got to do this by himself. So you felt that, all right, they're not going to come out, but maybe someone else will, or that's what it's going to be. The story in this was the one they've been trying to tell on television for the last few weeks, is that Rollins is going crazy. Rollins is beside himself because he can't beat Cody. He can't beat Cody. Cody's 3-0 against him, and it's the one person he can't beat. It's the one ghost he can't banish or vanquish in his career. And the more he tries, he keeps trying, still can't defeat Cody, still can't do it. And he starts even doing crazy stuff to try and beat him, including, you see there, a coast-to-coast headbutt. I don't think I have ever seen that before. Maybe, someone will let me know in the chat, but I cannot remember. Certainly Seth Rollins doing a coast-to-coast headbutt, but I can't remember many people doing a coast-to-coast headbutt. It is just a madness of a move. And it looked like maybe he popped his shoulder out when he did it. It was a horrible landing. And then Cody hit a crossroads off the top, which you can see on the screen right there, during which Rollins lands on his other shoulder. So his other shoulder looked like it was hurt. It was just frankly incredible. And then because Rollins is the heel, even though he can't beat Cody by himself, he has to resort to cheating. So that's what he does. He gets the Rolex that Rhodes gifted him at WrestleMania 40, punches him in the jaw, hits a stomp, and then a super stomp, and then Rollins gets the 1-2-3. So kind of right in the sense of Cody's not doing... Well, this is as clean as Cody will do in terms of doing a job. All right, yeah, but I'm QB1, man, of WWE. I'm the top babyface. You can't just pin me clean. Got to be protected. What if I punch you in the face with a Rolex, hit you with my finish, and then hit you with my finish off the top rope? All right. Okay, that's credibility. So Cody doesn't necessarily do the clean job. And also, no Brock, no new member of the Vision, no Randy Orton turn or anything like that. That was it. And I must also say, this is the other part of it. And then the show just kind of ended. And I kind of went, maybe it's just me, but it felt just like a really lackluster way to end the show. Like, Kathy Kelly came in to do the interview, which you can see there, took the mic off her, said, I just proved I'm the best in the world and the greatest of all time. And I thought, oh, Cena's going to come out. And it's going to be like Cena's going to challenge you for the world title. He's not just going to be 17, it's going to be 18. And then he never came out. Stephanie Vaquer came out, and because they both won the Crown Jewel titles, and that was the show. And I just felt that was a very lackluster ending for the show. And look, if it was the case of, well, we needed Rollins to win for storyline reasons, all right, but could have done something. Something else could have been there, or end with Cena and Styles and them embracing and holding up their arms. I mean, I guess the thing is, Cena, well, he's not going to be on television much anymore. Have the stars in the main event who are going to be there, but the ending just felt off. Like we were waiting for something else to happen that never did. That never did end, and I just don't know what the thinking honestly was behind all of that. It just, again, didn't make a lot of sense. Slim says ending was cheeks. Ed says Cena AJ should have closed the show. And obviously I know that's a lot easier to say in hindsight. Well, this was the match that should have closed it. That's what it should have been. So they got it wrong. But like I said, it's not that the match was bad. The match was fine. It wasn't the match of the show. I think by that point they were dealing with a very tired crowd. I don't know what the time was locally in Perth. Probably close to midnight, I think. Probably. And if that is the case, they did feel a bit tired, a bit worn out. As I mentioned, a lot of the other matches on the show were long. The Cena Styles match was the best one. And by that point, I think the closing moments of the Rollins Rhodes match, I think they were just kind of sort of waiting for it to end. And then because of the heel winning in the nature that he did, and no surprise interference, no surprise person coming out, I think they were maybe waiting for this sort of post-match angle, and they just never really got it, and it just sort of closed with that. So I guess the story being told there is that, right, Rollins finally did beat Cody Rhodes. He still had to cheat to do it, but he did it, and the vision is still around. Again, it's very flat, isn't it? Like, if you go, okay, if that's the story, it's a very flat ending for it, which I don't really understand. But there you go, folks. That was WWE Crown Jewel Perth. I still can't believe that we've just done a watch along and a post show, and it's just past 5 p.m. over here in the UK. Got the rest of the day. Got the rest of the day to do stuff. I feel all energized. So really appreciate everyone for tuning in across the watch along and the post show. And of course, if you're watching after the fact, let me know your thoughts on it all in the comment section below. And also, whilst you're here, reminder that all the streams have been brought to you in collaboration with all of our affiliates. That includes NordVPN, which you can see in the sidebar right there. If you have been watching in the US or around the world, and you've been watching on other streaming platforms and go, oh, I don't know if I can afford it. Of course, in the US, you have to watch on ESPN. You can watch it as part of your Netflix subscription like we can here in the UK. We get to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main roster PLEs, NXT PLEs. Saturday night's main event for free on YouTube, but everything else on Netflix is part of one subscription. You can too. All you got to do is get NordVPN. You can use our link in the video description, pinned in the chat, or that QR code. You can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra. And then we got to do change your location to here in the UK. Then you can watch all of your WWE content as part of your Netflix subscription. Not bad. Not bad. Better than having a million different streaming services accounts, which you still probably will. I know I do. I'm very much at the moment spending my nights jumping from different streaming services to other going, oh, I'll watch this on Netflix. Oh, no, maybe I'll watch this on Amazon Prime. No, maybe I'll watch this on Disney Plus. And now we're getting to a point where they're all getting put together. Cable reinvented, isn't it? Unbelievable. So yes, appreciate everyone for tuning in and getting involved. We'll have more content coming up tomorrow. And when is AEW Wrestle Dream? That's a good point. AEW, it's this month, isn't it? I know. So we are going to have another watch along this month. It's next weekend. It's next Saturday. So this time next week, I'll be live with a watch along and a post show for AEW Wrestle Dream. I know it's Bound for Glory tomorrow. I would do it, but as I mentioned earlier in the watch along, I've got I'm getting a puppy tomorrow, and I've got to be spending the next couple of days sort of making sure that they're okay, and settled in. So can't do a late night tomorrow. So yes, as Jamie says, lazy as F. Yeah, I know. Got to work harder. So yes, but I will have one next weekend. We'll be back for Wrestle Dream. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all tuning in, and we'll be back with more content soon. I'm out of here. Peace.